Dead. Long live the king.
You are a better doctor than your father ever was. Don't turn your back on this just because you're worried about ruining his reputation.
There's no law that says that brothers have to like each other, Geoff. Ed had his way, I had mine. That's all.
I'm not everyone, dear. I don't think you quite understand.
No, Georgina, I don't think you understand. I'm a doctor. I believe in doing what's best for my patient.
Are you married?
Rule number 2, we never ask personal questions.
I want to know.
We absolutely obey the rules, especially rule number 2.
When were you going to tell me about Lillian? Specifically the part about the two of you being engaged?
I was hoping he might stay this time.
Oh, I think he will. Why wouldn't he? Everything he could possibly want is here.
If I said sorry, would it make any difference? How about if I said sorry and kissed you? Sorry.
Why didn't you show?
Wasn't anything I could do.
I mean, you say no personal details, no telephone numbers, but where does that leave me?
Oh, I've already had this conversation, Eddie.
So you're married? Big deal. Or maybe I'm just giving you something he can't.
Glad to see you, mate.
Where is he?
In here.
And he's been like this since last night?
About 10 o'clock.
When was his last feed?
I tried an hour ago.
And before that?
7.
Yeah, but he brought all that back up again.
Do you think it's serious?
Well, there's no rash or bruising, so I'm pretty sure it's not meningitis. Why don't you bring him along to the surgery this afternoon? We'll run some tests. In the meantime, keep trying to get him to drink something. I'm going to leave you one of these. It's for a urine sample. Bring that with you and we'll check that too.
Is he going to be okay?
I'm sure he's going to be fine.
If we're doing something wrong...
I'm sure that you're not, but we need to check him anyway.
I'm very touched. I don't know what to say.
For some reason, he wanted you to have them.
It's more than I deserve.
It's a lot more than you deserve, but Ed was like that. Didn't bear any grudges.
He was a good brother.
When are you going back to America?
Sunday. A couple of things to catch up on first. Very impressive.
Yeah, she's certainly very fast, I'll give her that.
She's always been this energetic.
6 times a week and twice on Sundays.
You can vouch for that, eh? Beautiful morning.
Certainly is. I have to get ready for morning surgery. I'll see you both later.
I dare say the odd exotic dancer must have slipped through his grasp.
What is it you dislike most about her? The registry office wedding? Or the fear she'll ask for ketchup with everything?
Oh, I resent that. Just think Nick could have waited a little longer, that's all.
So how's the fishing going?
It's all right.
Any joy with the new rod?
Caught a bream in the narrow last week. About that big.
Oh, is that your favourite spot?
Yeah.
What do you use for bait?
Bread, mostly.
Okay, all done. Well, I'm sorry to say this, Ben, but there is absolutely nothing wrong with you.
But what about the pains in my stomach?
Probably just indigestion.
And the headaches. I've been getting these really bad headaches.
Try getting to bed earlier.
I think I may have suffered a vasovagal attack. It's a temporary loss of consciousness due to sudden slowing of the heartbeat, usually brought on by overstimulation of the vagus nerve.
I know what it is, Ben.
I think you should send me for an X-ray at the very least.
You've been in my surgery 5 times in as many weeks with some sort of complaint. Are you sure you're telling me absolutely everything?
Just think it needs some further investigation, that's all.
There's nothing wrong with you.
What?
There is nothing wrong with you.
Thanks.
Still can't believe you're a farmer.
Well, life's a journey, Nick. We all fill our father's shoes in the end.
Yeah.
He was a good man, your dad.
So how are you managing?
Oh, well, you know me. It's Howard who's got the problem. He worries all the time. He wants to prove that we're up to this. I've never cared what anyone thinks.
Well, you've been together long enough. You'll manage. Once we get little Henry sorted out, things will be a lot easier.
Something I want to ask you, actually. We're getting Henry christened. And I'd like it very much if you would be his godfather.
Me?
Yeah. We've known each other a long time. I can't think of anyone better suited. If you think that it's putting you on the spot, Nick.
No. No, I'd love to do it. It'd be an honour.
Twice in 10 days. You do realise that makes us practically engaged.
There you go again, rushing into things.
Well, you know my opinion. I found the whole idea unbearably spooky. Call me old-fashioned, but I still prefer the original way of doing things. That includes a mother. Yeah, go on, pull faces. It's about time someone spoke their mind.
Yeah, because we don't have one of those already, do we?
Please don't tell me this was an act of love. I knew Hannah Weasel.
Weatherall.
Whatever. She was simply the womb that they hired in order to have this child.
You know, you're a complete bigot, Mum. Do you know that?
This isn't Islington. There's a biological process going on here. A child needs a mother. Physically, a man just isn't equipped to do the task.
Yeah, but you see, we come from this place called the 21st century.
Can you imagine that child's 10 years from now in the playground? His life is going to be hell.
Are you saying that a 17-year-old crack addict, just because she's a woman, would make a better parent than either of these men?
Are you seriously telling me that you would choose a man over a woman?
I don't think it's about men or women. I think there are good parents and bad parents. It depends on the individual.
They've asked me to be godfather.
You've said yes, I suppose.
Jim's my friend. Of course I said yes.
Oh. Do you think that's what your father would have wanted?
What's that got to do with anything?
His name meant something. It was a seal of approval. Do you really imagine he'd want it associated with something like this? Well, look, just don't forget to take your whistle. I'm sure that at some point you'll be required to lead the congregation in a rousing rendition of I Am What I Am.
Oh, we certainly told her, didn't we?
It's gonna work, Eddie. Trust me. See you Thursday.
Bye.
What was all that about?
They were just messing around.
Looked like more than just messing around to me. Have you told anyone? Why not?
Just make things worse.
What about your parents?
No.
Would you like me to speak to them?
No. Look, if you'd just written me a note in the first place, this wouldn't have even happened.
This is really silly, Eddie. Give me your keys.
What?
There's a newsagent's about half a mile down the road. An old lady runs it. She'll have your keys.
Anna. Anna!
If you do this again, it's finished. Do you understand?
Hiya. Nick came to see Henry this morning. He told us to bring him in so we can do some tests.
Oh, take a seat and I'll let him know you're here. Nick, baby Henry's here.
Muriel, do you have the short list of nurses that we're interviewing tomorrow?
Oh, yes.
Thank you. Jim and Howard. I'm Deb, Nick's wife.
Yeah, we met briefly at the funeral. Oh, yeah.
May I?
Yeah?
Oh, come on. Oh, you're beautiful. Good boy.
Woman's touch.
Beginner's luck, more like. So, which one of you is the biological father?
Me.
As I said, beginner's luck.
Come on, sweetie. Come on.
That really hurts him.
I'm sorry, but there's no other way of doing this. Once we have the results back, we should have a better idea of what's bothering him.
We've been wondering about this christening, whether we should go ahead or not.
Oh, hopefully by Sunday we'll have him sorted out.
That's not what I meant. I know what people are saying.
What are they saying?
We're not fit to be parents.
All kids get ill, Howard. Look on the bright side. This is just the beginning. Chicken pox, runny noses, sore throats. You've got it all to come, mate.
So, you're still up for this?
Who else do you trust to drop him in the fox?
You must admit, Ben is a bit of an oddbod. I mean, you said yourself he's working his way through the textbooks.
And now I know why.
Well, if you're that worried, you can always have a word with his parents. He's your patient.
Hello. Is Nick around? Oh, I'm sorry, Dr. Sweet's surgery's finished for the day.
Perhaps I could help.
Thank Geoff, but I really need to speak to Nick. I don't mind waiting.
Take a seat. I'll let him know you're here.
Thank you.
Hello, Mrs. Sweet.
Hello, Jim. Howard. Oh, he's a dear little thing, isn't he? Yes. Beautiful eyes. How's his mother?
I'm fine.
Yes. Well, I won't keep you. Just off to see what trouble my other son's getting into.
Say ah.
Ah.
I can't see anything.
It feels very sore.
Does it hurt when I do this?
Your hands are very warm.
I can't find anything wrong, Lily. And I don't want to prescribe tablets for something I can't see. I suggest you give it another couple of days, and if it's still bothering you, then come back in and we'll see what we can do.
I'm glad you're staying.
Lily, I think that if you do need to come back in, it'd be a good idea if you saw Geoff or my wife instead.
Why? Fine. Thank you, Doctor.
Hello?
Oh, I was just looking for Georgina.
I think she's gone over to Eddie's. Can I help?
No, it's okay. I just thought if she was around.
Would you like to leave a message?
No, it's not important. I'll catch up with her later. So you've settled in okay, then?
I have, thanks.
You must come over for dinner one night. I'm quite handy in the kitchen, didn't Nick tell you?
He never mentioned it.
Well, we must put something in the diary.
Sounds great.
Okay. Yeah. I'll see you again.
Bye.
I can't have this.
Don't be stupid.
You gave this watch to Dad on his 50th birthday.
That's right. Now I'm giving it to you. I want you to have it as a little memento.
What about Nick? He loves this watch.
Don't worry about Nick. I've got something for him, too. Well, perfect fit. Oh. She's pretty. Your mystery lady, I take it this is her. Why don't you bring her over for dinner one night? I won't bite.
It's awkward.
Awkward vulgar or awkward married?
Just awkward. God.
There should be some more stuff for you in the old garage. You were supposed to come over this morning.
I sort of lost my car keys.
Ben's a big lad now. I can't rush down there every time someone calls him a name.
I think it's a bit more than just name-calling, Mrs. Campbell. He's in my surgery constantly asking for a sick note.
I appreciate your concern, Doctor. But this is something he's going to have to learn to handle on his own.
Look, if you don't take a lead now, things could get seriously out of control.
I've tried talking to him. He just tells me not to interfere.
I understand. But with all due respect, I don't think you have a choice anymore.
I'm frightened if I get involved, it'll only make things worse.
Things have moved on. Schools have policies now, procedures. Ben's a bright lad, Mrs. Campbell. You don't want him dropping out, do you?
I'll make an appointment with the headmaster.
Good. And make it soon, and be direct. Don't let them fob you off.
In nursing, it's important to include the patient in the whole process. I like to think of things in terms of the 3 C's. Number 1, care. Number 2, courtesy. And number 3, communication.
For me, a cuddle's as important as anything else we can offer. Just take them in your arms and squeeze tight.
I like people, all sorts of people. I like making the connections. My mother was a nurse for 17 years and she still says it's the best time she's ever had.
I note you worked with the nursing agency Medical Babes. Medical Base. For a year. How was that?
Well, it was interesting. I wanted to get some more general nursing experience, sort of feel my way around, and I certainly managed to do that. But it also made me realise I think I work much better when I'm based in one particular location. As I said, I like to connect with people, and I think I connect much better when I know my surroundings.
3 operating theatres, ample research provisions, oh, and access to satellite links. I'm impressed. All we need now is the right man at the helm.
I assume there are other interested parties.
1 or 2 of the board members have expressed an interest in Kronk, South Africa. You can't deny the man's credentials, an extremely accomplished all-rounder, not unlike yourself. There's also an internal candidate, Rachel Treese.
Young and beautiful?
The board were impressed.
I can imagine. Well, thank you, Philip. It's good to know the landscape.
Well, Felicity was too smothering. I mean, all that cuddling stuff.
I don't think she'd be happy unless she was breastfeeding everybody.
Which leaves us with Zoe and Carl.
I liked Carl.
I found him very smarmy.
No. I really think he could add something to the practice.
And pregnant women, I would imagine.
Geoff?
I could see a certain amount of merit in appointing someone like that.
OK, what about Zoe?
She was very enthusiastic.
She's also very inexperienced.
Well, she's bright. She'll learn.
Did Zoe connect with you?
She did show a certain amount of potential, I suppose.
Why, when I look at her, do I see young and inexperienced? Yet, when you two look at her, you see a chance for the judges to see the contestants in their swimwear.
Well, look, if it's a toss-up between the 2 of them, then let's put it to the vote.
Actually, Nick, I think we should take some time to mull this over. Like it or not, Carl does have pretty impressive qualifications.
It's very sensible. At least someone's still thinking with their brain. OK, I've got a home visit. We'll talk again later. I'd like to let the successful candidate know as soon as possible.
Zoe.
Absolutely.
Simon, I'm very surprised at you going along with this christening nonsense. Not believing in God, I expect, but this...
Well, I mean, you might not like it, but young Henry's part of this community, and that's how I intend to welcome him.
Well, I don't think you should be surprised if some members of that community decide not to take part.
Hang on. So what you're saying is, you deny this child acceptance into the house of God?
What I'm saying is that if you try and force this spectacle on us, I shall have no alternative but to walk out. And I don't just speak for myself. Many others have expressed exactly the same point of view.
Well, the urine and blood tests have both come back clear. But there's obviously something still troubling him.
Is it serious?
Let's not jump to conclusions.
You must have some idea.
I'd like to send Henry to the hospital for some tests to see if he has any allergies.
Could it be all something we're doing or not doing?
I'm sure it's not.
What do you reckon?
The only way I could describe it right now would be failure to thrive. It sounds a lot worse than it is. It's really just a catch-all. It just simply means that, for whatever reason, he's not doing as well as he should.
How long before we know something?
A day, 2 at most. I'll keep on top of it, I promise.
Failure to thrive. It's not one you want stamped on your report, really, is it?
Like I said, it's just a term. Until we know for sure.
So you can fight, can you?
Leave me alone.
What happened?
She went to the school, like you told her. And Jackson had them all in his office. He threatened to send letters home to their parents. You happy? Got any more bright ideas?
Jim's asked both godparents to write Henry a few lines. Words of advice, a poem, whatever. The idea is he gets to open it on his 16th birthday.
Very nice.
Do you want to take a look?
It's just the moment when I'm supposed to see the light.
I spoke to Simon. You know, I'm the godfather to this child. How do you think it's going to look if my own mother stages a walkout?
I'm flattered that you consider what I do to be so important.
I want you to reconsider. Give them a chance. You know, you talk about Dad. Do you think this is what he would have wanted?
He had his beliefs too.
He believed in this community.
I'm not a hypocrite. I cannot be part of something with which I fundamentally disagree.
You walk out of that church tomorrow, the only person you're going to embarrass is yourself.
You know, Geoffrey, sometimes it's not always as straightforward as it seems. There are certain other variants.
What do you mean?
Ben Campbell's what we call a perpetual victim. He has needy body posture, annoying mannerisms. His social skills are underdeveloped.
I haven't noticed that.
Oh, perhaps because in many ways, you and he are very similar. Well, as I recall, you didn't have a very happy time here.
You suggested I'd be better off somewhere else.
Well, not every school's suitable to every pupil. When I spoke to your father, he agreed.
Are you suggesting that Ben leaves?
No, no, of course not. I'm simply suggesting that perhaps your reasons for becoming involved with this boy are a little, how can I say, retrospective?
This isn't about me.
Yes? Oh, right. Yeah, thank you. School governors are here. I'm going to have to call this to an end, I'm afraid.
But what about Ben?
I'll continue to monitor the situation. In the meantime, perhaps it might be better for all concerned if any further dialogue is kept between the boy's family and myself. Well, it's been good seeing you again, Geoffrey. Oh, please, do give my regards to your father.
No, actually.
I beg your pardon?
No, I don't think we will keep this between you and the family. You're right. It is personal, and that's why you'd better take me seriously.
How dare you threaten me like this?
Anybody could have seen I was an easy target.
You made yourself a target.
I was 12 years old. My mother had just left home. My father was never around. What did you expect?
I did what I thought best. For everybody.
You got rid of me. I spent 5 years in the shit because of you. I'm not going to let the same thing happen to Ben.
What exactly is it that you want me to do?
Make it stop. Now. Because if you don't, I will cause so much trouble for both you and the school. Have I made myself clear? Have I made myself clear?
perfectly.
Good. Then we understand each other.
I won't disturb you. I just wanted an envelope.
It's okay. It's nothing important.
How did the interviews go?
We've made a decision.
Yes, well, I won't pry.
It was between a very nice chap called Carl and a pretty 25-year-old called Zoe.
Oh, well, no prizes for guessing who's got the job, then. You should have had me on the panel. At least then we would have tied.
Lillian Wood came in again.
Oh, yes?
She's becoming something of a regular fixture. If I didn't know better, I'd say she was doing it on purpose.
Is that bothering you?
No. But I worry about Nick.
Truthfully, Deborah, I don't think you've anything to worry about there. Nick's hardly like...
I didn't mean like that. It was difficult enough convincing him to stay on in the first place. We're really happy here. I'd hate for anything to spoil it now. So this is where the black sheep of the family lives.
You mean the one who never turns up for Christmas and always forgets to write birthday cards? Yep.
I just wanted to see it. You don't mind, do you?
Make yourself at home. So, are you on the run? Or is this a social visit?
Bit of both, I think.
My mother driving you mad? You're not going to believe this, but I think she really likes you.
Oh, how can you tell?
She loves a challenge. After all, why would she bother with me?
It is beautiful here.
You know, if you come down here in the early morning, the mist's still on the water. Sun comes up over those trees. It's the most beautiful place I know.
Wouldn't you like to share that with anyone?
What? Geoff stays here a lot.
You do the little boy lost thing really well. I'm surprised they're not queuing around the corner.
Maybe I haven't met the right person. Why did you and Nick decide to get married?
What did he tell you?
Wait, he told me that you'd gone to him and said you were pregnant. He never tells me anything like that.
And why would that be, I wonder?
I don't think he trusts me. I mean, I certainly don't trust me.
It's good news. It's nothing serious. It turns out Henry's been suffering from cow's milk intolerance. It's actually quite common.
So we're just going to change his diet?
I brought you some soya milk, which is what you feed him on from now on. The rest we can work our way around.
Is this forever, or will he grow out of it?
Well, the chances are by the time he's 3 or 4, he'll be fine. But we need to keep the situation monitored just in case.
Would it have made any difference if he'd been breastfed?
Well, lots of babies aren't breastfed these days, you know.
That's not the question I asked, but I appreciate the thought.
And we thought it was all going to be wonderful.
Well, it will be, but it'll be tough too. But hey, that's parenthood, so I understand. It doesn't mean you're bad parents. It doesn't mean you won't make mistakes. It just means you're doing your best, that's all, like everyone else.
Will you tell that to your mum?
I'm not exactly sure what you're suggesting, Georgina.
I'm suggesting it'd be better for everyone if you stayed away from Nick for a while.
Has he said something?
Just my reading of the situation.
Then I don't understand.
Well, what is there to understand? He's a married man. He has commitments. Those commitments don't involve you.
So suddenly you approve of her now, do you? I thought we had an agreement.
An agreement?
Don't try and play me, Georgina. I may not be as good at this as you, but I will not be swept under the carpet either.
I'm afraid I've lost you completely.
I don't think so.
Never threaten someone bigger than yourself, Lillian. It always ends badly.
Wow. I thought Dad had got rid of it.
I've had some times in this thing, I tell you.
You weren't the only one.
You've had sex?
Piss off.
Oh. Hi, hello. I'll leave, shall I?
No. Sorry. Please. Sit down.
So do you know anything about her at all?
No. We've got rules.
Where did you meet?
Bar in town. I was doing some work for Wickham, went in afterwards, and there she was.
So she picked you up?
Yeah. It does happen.
Dad's watch?
Yeah. Mum gave it to me. She's got some stuff for you.
She gave you Dad's watch?
Is that a problem?
No. No, I mean, if anyone needs a watch, Eddie, it's you.
Well, if it's a problem, you can have the watch.
No, it's not a problem. She gave you the watch. Keep it.
You get the family business, I get a watch. What's the big deal?
Anytime you want to take over, you just let me know.
Do I get the beautiful wife, too?
You should have seen his face.
It must have felt great.
Yeah, the patronising bastard. He always had his favourites. Thomas Worthington, Stephen Gill, even Nick.
I can imagine.
The only one who ever looked out for me was Eddie.
Today you got your chance to hit back.
Yeah, I did, didn't I?
You're really nice. How come I never noticed that before?
It could be because you were going out with Nick.
Not anymore. Got married, didn't you? See you.
Well, I'm still not sure what we're supposed to be celebrating.
We're going to be neighbours, Georgie.
I thought you were going back to America.
I am, but only to pack. I've been offered a job, heading up a new unit at Queen Mary's. I start in 6 weeks.
Congratulations.
Well done.
Mum, why did you give Eddie Dad's watch? I mean, was it supposed to be some sort of punishment? You know, Dr. Ed's son, friends with a couple of homosexuals, godfather to their child?
And it has absolutely nothing to do with that.
Then why him?
If you're implying what I think you're implying, may I just remind you that not only did I entrust you with the eulogy at your father's funeral, but I invited you to choose something from among his personal belongings immediately afterwards.
You gave me his stethoscope.
His very first stethoscope, exactly.
Exactly.
Well, I thought you'd appreciate something that had been of personal significance to him. If I'd known you just wanted to divvy up the family silver, I'd have given you a black sack and told you to get on with it.
I don't think Nick was quite suggesting that.
Please keep out of this, Andrew.
You always have to be in control, don't you? You always have to be running things. You don't really care about Jim and Howard's baby. You just want the whole thing to revolve around you.
Well, I'm sorry you see things like that.
Are you? Are you really?
If your father was alive, he'd understand.
I'm not my father.
Well, at least that's something we can both agree on.
That's right. And I won't be doing things the way that he did. You know, maybe Dad was the right man for his time, but that time is finished. It's my turn now. And you better get used to it.
Is this a boys' game or can anyone play?
Yeah, but I'm driving.
Where are we going?
That's what I'd like to know.
Haven't you got what you wanted? It's official. You have now stepped out of your father's shadow.
Well, let's see how long it lasts.
Hey, I just spoke to Zoe. She's very excited. Really looking forward to connecting with everyone.
Look, she's local, and that counts for a lot in a place like this.
Translation, Geoff fancies every bone in her body, and I think she's pretty fit too.
Well, you know, I might just keep her on the bench in case you get injured.
No, I don't get injured. Didn't anyone tell you?
That's what I was banking on.
Pull over.
Congratulations, Dad. To us. You wouldn't believe how good it felt. You know, Jackson's just another bully.
So you finally stood up for yourself, then?
Better late than never, I suppose.
I'm proud of you. This is a new start, Geoff, for both of us. It'll be different this time, you'll see.
Where have I heard that before?
What do you mean?
Sending me to boarding school. Was that a new start, too?
That was an expensive education you got.
Yeah, I got your checks, thanks.
It's thanks to those checks. You're a doctor. Look at yourself. You're a success.
Yeah. And I owe everything to you. Look, I might push off.
Stay for another one.
No, really. I'm pleased for you, Dad.
Come on. Those two have been giving us the eye since we walked in.
Good night, Dad.
It's nearly 11. I was just about to call the police.
Sorry, Aunt Georgina. I just had a few things I wanted to sort before the morning. We, appointed a new nurse today.
Medical babes, yes, I heard.
Do you think what happens to us as children makes us what we are?
I dare say it plays a part, yeah.
And that we carry the scars for the rest of our lives?
With any luck, we carry the good things too. Hope, love. I mean, what's a scar? It's just an old wound that's healed.
I suppose so.
Come inside. I'll get your brandy. You can sleep in your old room tonight.
How is it?
I don't think I've ever seen it so crowded.
Wonder how many are here just to see what happens.
Exciting, isn't it?
Your mother said I'd find you here. Had any luck?
No, not yet.
She said they moved you into another class.
Miss Adams.
Miss Adams. The body. I keep my ear to the ground. Has it stopped?
No, but it's better.
So you're going to be okay?
Miss Adams has given me a desk at the front of the class. It's best for you in the school, so I think I'll survive.
As part of today's service, we'll be welcoming Henry Clark into the church. A baptism is the time for renewal. The renewal of our faith in God and the renewal of our faith in each other. Sometimes that faith can get a little stretched. But who amongst us has the right to judge? In the end, we are only ever fit to ask for salvation, never to grant it. With the parents and the godparents of the child about to be baptized, please come forward. In baptism, God calls us out of darkness into his marvelous light. To follow Christ means dying to sin and rising to new life with him. Christ claims you for his own.
Dear Henry,
Receive the sign of the cross.
your parents have asked me to write you some words of advice on the occasion of your 16th birthday. I don't suppose by now there's much you don't already know, so I'll just give you the 3 tips my father gave me. Firstly, don't be late. Someone's got to get the party started, so why not you? Secondly, things are never as bad as they seem, so try not to judge tomorrow by what happened today. Believe it or not, it usually gets better. Lastly, whenever you can, be true to yourself. I know it isn't always easy, but trust me on this, in the long run, everything else is much, much harder. Something your parents know only too well. Good luck. Your friend, Nick Sweet.
When I want something, I tend to go for it.
Maybe she's just not right for you. You're not getting out of your depth, are you?
No, I was always the better swimmer, remember, Nick?
It's about time you all stopped bowing and scraping to Her Majesty here. Ed's gone, and you can't go on being the great I Am anymore.
Well, Sweet Medicine continues next Thursday at the same time, 9 o'clock. Tomorrow at 9, they're the gardening gurus with a keen eye for crime solving. Felicity Kendall and Pam Ferris star in Rosemary and Thyme. But next tonight, Mark Austin has the ITV News at 10.